So, I watched the Human Centipede trilogy, yes, all three of them, and I feel like it would have been a complete waste of time if I didn't at least make a video on it. So here I am. I've always been at least a little bit curious about these films, just because of how infamous they are, and recently they were covered on my favourite podcast, Sardonicast, so I figured, screw it. Now's the perfect time to finally dive into this trilogy. So in this video I'm going to briefly give you my thoughts on each film in this trilogy, no deep plot breakdowns, no graphic details, just my honest thoughts. Here goes nothing. Alright, starting off with the Human Centipede, the one that started it all. The basic premise is this. Two American girls get stranded in Germany, end up at a creepy guy's house, and he surgically connects them mouth to anus with a third person to form a human centipede. That's literally it. As far as horror films go, it's basically your standard low-budget affair. The acting from the two main girls at the start is honestly laughable, their dialogue sounds like it was written by someone who's never heard two people talk before.
We miss you so much. Yeah, we wish you were here with us.
And then there's Tom Six. He clearly thinks he's some kind of boundary-pushing visionary, but in reality, he comes across more like a pretentious hack who believes that shock value equals depth. Spoiler, it doesn't. That said, Dieter Laser is actually really good in this. He's got this naturally unsettling presence to him, and he fits the role perfectly. I'd actually recommend doing some reading on him. He seems like a genuinely interesting guy beyond this movie. Anyway, after the actual surgery takes place, the film weirdly shifts tones. It almost turns into a hangout film of sorts. Like there's this long stretch where not a whole lot happens, and you're just kind of stuck in this unpleasant house with these people. But then the third act hits, and holy hell, it goes full on dumb. Like, every character suddenly turns into the dumbest person alive. It's so over the top and ridiculous that it actually becomes kind of hilarious in a so bad it's funny kind of way. Oh, and the most memorable part of the whole movie? That weird dog centipede Photoshop. That image lives in my head rent-free. Thanks, Tom. But yeah, this film barely delivers on its premise, partly due to its tiny budget, and by the end of it, I was more amused than disturbed. I give it a 3 out of 10. Let's move on to the more interesting entries. So, the Human Centipede 2. This one's easily the most interesting of the bunch, which isn't saying much, but still. The premise here is kind of meta. It follows this short, obese, deeply disturbed man named Martin, who becomes obsessed with the first movie, and decides to make his own human centipede, only bigger and more quote-unquote realistic. Watching this guy stumble through his plan is honestly kind of hilarious. He's completely incompetent, constantly messing things up, and it's just bizarrely amusing watching him knock people out with crowbars and try to staple and tape them together. It's also over the top and gross, but I went into this movie thinking it was a dark comedy, and from that angle, it kind of works. For a while at least. Eventually though, the movie starts getting too indulgent for its own good. Like yeah, unlike the first film, this one actually delivers on its premise, but that doesn't make it good. The movie's in black and white, which I liked. It helps with the tone even if the cinematography isn't amazing. There's been some debate about whether the black and white was always Tom Six's vision or just a move to make the movie more marketable, but either way, I think it helps. And of course, I have to give credit where credit is due, the lead performance is genuinely great. Martin is disgusting and pathetic, and the actor really goes all in. It works wonderfully. Unfortunately, once the film hits the third act, it just kind of loses me. It's like Tom Six couldn't help himself and just had to keep pushing it further and further until it stops being funny or engaging and just becomes tiring. Nevertheless, I did get some enjoyment out of this film, so for that reason, I'm giving the Human Centipede 2 a 4 out of 10. Finally, we get to the Human Centipede 3, aka the cringe finale. The tagline literally says 100% politically incorrect, and the movie really thinks it's being edgy and radical, but it's just cringe as hell. The plot, you may ask? I don't know, something about a prison warden trying to implement a human centipede as a solution for discipline. Doesn't matter, you can barely understand what anyone's saying anyway. Dieter Laser is back, and he's just screaming the entire time, like full volume screaming. No subtitles? You're screwed. While I do enjoy Laser's presence in general, this movie is just exhausting. It tries way too hard to be funny, but not in a dark, twisted way like the second film. In the second one, you're laughing at the main character. Here, they're trying to make you laugh with the characters, and it just doesn't work. This film loses what made the other two even remotely watchable. It's not fun laughing with these movies, it's only ever been fun to laugh at them. And weirdly enough, The actual centipede doesn't become a major focus until about an hour into the runtime. Like, what are we even doing here? The movie seems way more interested in stroking Tom Six's ego than doing anything interesting with the premise. He even puts himself in the movie at one point. Dude, nobody cares about Tom Six. Visually, the film is gross in a different way. The yellow color palette is just ugly. The prison setting could have been a cool new angle, but they do absolutely nothing with it. Instead of using it for some biting satire or effective commentary, it's just empty shock and failed jokes. This one's a chore. I give the Human Centipede 3 a 2 out of 10. It's the worst one. So there you have it, I've finally seen the Human Centipede trilogy, and while I don't think the films are any good, I can't say I regret watching them. I did have a pretty good time, even though I was bored at points. So the first film, underwhelming. The second one, somewhat interesting but definitely falls short. And the third film is just completely silly and stupid and idiotic, and I don't want to think about it anymore. I'm done with this trilogy. See you in the next video.